All right, welcome back to the Big Dog Podcast. Lisa Saunders here with Jason Reed, and today we're digging into how oil-free rotary screw compressors are really changing the game when it comes to reliability and air purity. I mean, nobody wants to talk specs for the sake of specs, right, Jason? But in industries like semiconductors and healthcare, oil-free is, well, it's non-negotiable. It's kind of like, it's not just something you tick on a data sheet. It's a whole mindset. Every single day.
Yeah, you nailed it, Lisa. I was just at a plant the other week, electronics manufacturer, right? I was talking to their maintenance manager, and he tells me, flat out, one oil leak, Jason, just one, and the whole line shuts down. Like, done until the root cause is tracked down. It's wild, but it made sense. In electronics or semiconductors, you've got to have that ISO 85731 Class 0 air. There's no room for mistakes. Every little thing, from the precision machining on the rotors to the final filtration, has to be dialed in. Otherwise, you're gambling with massive downtime and scrap.
Exactly. And building on what we talked about in that intake air episode, you can't just throw a filter at it and call it oil-free. The air itself has to move through these compressors that are designed from the ground up for zero contamination. That means Kaishan's KROF uses super tight tolerances in the machining, PTFE coatings. It's like if oil-flooded compressors use oil to fill those microscopic gaps, with oil-free you're relying on flawless metalwork. There's nowhere to hide a mistake.
Yeah, and that means quality control's totally next level. If you look at how the KROF comes together at Kaishan's Loxley, Alabama facility, it's not just some assembly line with a checklist. The engineers are right there on the floor next to the folks machining the rotors. It shortens those feedback loops, and, it's what you want if one minor flaw means you're in for a costly repair call later on.
And for those industries, semis, med devices, electronics, it's a daily reality. I saw a visual the other day. They called it a way of life, not just a spec. That's spot on. It's what drives all those skilled machinists, the part of manufacturing you never see, but definitely feel when the air is pure and the process lines keep running. Honestly, if you've got oil-free in your process, there's zero wiggle room for sloppiness.
So, shifting gears, and this part's huge for reliability. You can't talk oil-free rotary screw without talking about heat. With oil-flooded machines, the oil's basically doing double duty, sealing and cooling. But oil-free? That discharge temperature's like about 300 degrees over ambient sometimes. That's where that whole oversized stainless steel pre-cooler thing matters. KROF has these massive pre-coolers to drop the stage 1 temps fast, and efficient intercoolers so when the air hits stage 2, it's not just cooked and useless. I always say, you want to make a maintenance manager's life better? Start by managing the heat.
Right. And I'm glad you mentioned that, because I think a lot of people overlook the role of advanced cooling in cutting down service calls. When you keep your components cooler and protect your clearances, there's way less thermal stress, and that just means things last longer. And those rotors, they're running at supersonic speeds, and Kaishan coats them with PTFE on corrosion-resistant steel. That helps keep friction down during startup, but also it helps resist corrosion from moisture if there's any condensate during shutdown. It's like every part of the process tries to head off a future failure.
It's funny you mentioned service calls. Let's talk about Kaishan's Loxley plant. Their whole model is about standardizing quality. Like every airend and rotor, they're made there, right next to R&D. So every time they find a tweak to improve cooling, it gets rolled out globally. Means you get the same level of quality if you're in Loxley or, halfway across the planet. And it's validated. Nobody's shipping out a unit without full pressure and temp testing under load. Kinda takes the surprise out of commissioning day, which is nice.
Yeah, and it's not just air-cooled either. Liquid-cooled KROF models sort of eliminate the need for that bulky pre-cooler, but offer super stable thermal control. That matters a ton if you're running in high duty or just brutal ambient temperatures. Plus, the oversized moisture separators and zero-loss drains between stages? Totally key. We talked about water issues back in our Moisture Mayhem episodes, and this is the kind of thing that actually prevents those nightmares later on.
All right, let's get into the guts of the KROF, the airend. There's this classic design problem. Most oil-free airends try to balance the axial forces with a balance piston, right? But those diaphragms can leak. And when that happens, you lose your preload on the bearings, which pretty much spells doom for your airend. Kaishan just ditched the whole piston, engineered it out entirely. Now their rotors and gears are set up to stay balanced by themselves. That cuts out a whole category of failure, so less can go wrong, which is exactly what you want if you're the one getting called at 2 a.m. when stuff breaks.
I love that, because if you're managing maintenance, you want fewer surprises and faster fixes. Not everyone's got time to hunt down a bunch of rare parts. You just want reliability and easy access. Kaishan thought about that too. Oversized moisture separators, those advanced bearings, and simple service access to the whole airend. And I think it's brilliant that they stock complete stages at their distributors. So if you do need a new stage, you don't have to wait weeks or play the back order game.
Oh, let me tell you, I've seen this play out. There was this food production plant. Big operation, needed oil-free for obvious reasons. Their KROF was due for a stage swap. Tech from their local Kaishan distributor rolls in, gets the new stage on in under an hour. I was kind of shocked how fast it was. Kept their downtime so low they barely noticed. For a busy plant, that's a win. Means you're not blowing your production schedule every time you need to swap a major part.
Absolutely, and that's where having local support is such a huge deal. We've said it before. Reliability isn't just about good engineering, it's about making sure parts and expertise are never far away. All right, we're going to wrap up this episode, but if you want more hands-on knowledge about oil-free systems or have a gnarly maintenance problem, honestly, make sure to get in touch with your local Kaishan distributor or drop us your questions at Kaishan USA. Jason, always a pleasure talking shop.
Right back at you, Lisa. Thanks, everyone, for listening to the Big Dog Podcast. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Plenty more no-nonsense compressed air talk coming your way. Catch you next time.